All right. Welcome everyone to our final six reunion. We have everyone here tonight except for Barrett. Barrett couldn't make it tonight. I did get in contact with him. It was a delayed contact, but I think I'm going to record something with Barrett on his own and upload that. But for now, we have 5 of the final 6 here tonight. So starting off with the least recent boot, we have our 6th placer, Alex. Alex, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I brought out the bling here tonight, the bling jacket. This is a horrid jacket. I don't think I've ever worn this on camera yet, but it is to be seen in future seasons. But I brought out the horrible, ugly jacket because it's funny, and I'm your host tonight, Master of Ceremonies. Yeah, this is what I take the girls to Chili's in. Absolutely. Heidi, any future dates with the jacket?
I mean, you're welcome to wear it. I haven't seen it on any dates yet.
That's for the best. That's for the best.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have our final 5 boot and the first one of the finale. Matt, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's good to see everyone. I think everyone here, I haven't seen your faces in like all of 2020. So really a big boost for the end of the year right now to see you guys.
That's true. It's great to see you, Matt. It's great to see all of you, of course. We don't get to see each other that much anymore. So hopefully 2021, a little more face to face. Next up, skipping over Barrett, who, again, we'll talk to soon. We have our final juror. It is Bijan. Bijan, how's it going? I froze, didn't I? Motherfucker. All right.
You froze a little bit.
Okay.
There you
All right. I'm back.
We can hear you, though. We can hear you fine.
I'm back. All right, Bijan, how are you?
Yeah, good. As Matt said, I'm excited to see everybody. I was one or two seniors, so it was like 3rd place, and then I'm graduating, so I didn't really get to see anybody after that. I saw Karolina once at a tailgate, the alumni Karolina, and that was it. I haven't seen anybody, so this is really exciting.
All right. Well, it's great to talk to you, Bijan. And I'm
going to be right back. My bird is screaming.
Absolutely. Your bird?
Did not know
You said bird.
Okay. I don't know what that is. All right. Next up, we have our runner-up of the season, our final immunity challenge winner. It is Karolina. Karolina, how have you been?
I'm doing great. I'm just excited to see everyone, especially with online school and everything. It's really great to see some familiar faces.
Absolutely. It's fun to see you guys all together here again. And then, of course, we have our winner that we talked with a little last night. We'll talk with her a little more. It is Heidi. Heidi, how are you doing since yesterday?
I'm doing good. I'm back in my own home now. I have my cat in my lap and my dog circling the table around me, so I might be mildly distracted. But
that's good.
Yeah.
Are they excited you're a sole survivor?
Yes, I think so.
I believe.
Did you tell them
so
before
too.
the episode aired?
Yeah. Did you spoil it?
No, they're spoil free.
Oh, that's good to hear. And as always, we have our executive producer and our upcoming season 3 host, Ethan, here tonight. Ethan, what's going on?
Not too much. One of my rare days off from work, so I'm enjoying it as much as I can, and I can't imagine a better way to spend it than amongst some amazing people.
I agree. So I think we'll go. What order do we want to go in? We want to go Alex to Heidi or Heidi to Alex? What are we feeling? We already talked with Heidi a little, so I'm cool with either. Does anyone need to go at any point in the evening? Does anyone want to get it out of the way?
To shine.
All right, then we're just gonna start with Heidi. Get right back to it. Start with our winners. So Heidi, I just have like 3 more things that I thought of since talking with you last night. If you want to hear a little more from Heidi, check out our post show for the finale. But Heidi, talk to me a little about the first vote of the season. This was a big vote where you were kind of perceived as like the swing vote at this tribal. how did you end up in that position? How did that first vote go from your perspective?
Okay, so the Sawyer vote was one that I carried with me for a lot of the game, especially because it alienated Alex very early on. From my perspective, before our second challenge, the one that Jaskilka lost, Sawyer asked to meet up with me. And I was like kind of sus of it immediately because I hadn't met with anyone yet and I wasn't aware of how much you should be meeting with someone yet. But from my like newbie perspective, meeting with someone that early was just weird because we didn't lose yet. So why would we be making alliances? It just felt like defeatist to me. Even though I don't think it is, I think it's a great idea to start making alliances as soon as possible. But from my newbie perspective, I was like, this is weird. But he talks to me and he's talking about like a potential, like what happens if we lose. And I'm getting like more and more uncomfortable with the idea because I'm like, well, we haven't lost yet. Why are we talking like we're about to lose? It felt like it was like laying a curse on us, like for that upcoming challenging when obviously we did lose. But he's talking about how he wants to get Shane out. And Shane, in my opinion, was like the person I was most excited to work with because Shane's very loud, he's very outgoing. And for me, I was like, I don't want to vote Shane out. I think Shane's great. So I think you could see it in my face through that entire meeting that I'm just like, yeah, like I go like blank like multiple times because I don't know what to say. I'm not ready to like put on a poker face and pretend I'm fine with it. And earlier than I want to, I have to start pushing Alex, who would have been my preferential first boot. Then from that point forward, I guess Sawyer got a totally different read on that meeting than I did because I think he considered me one of his top allies right behind Alex. I think the show paints it to be a bit more of Maddie, but Sawyer and I met like multiple times after that. I remember there was one time he met with me. This was after we lost. This was after Maddie, Shane, and I were together and decided that we were voting for Sawyer for gunning so hard for Shane that I remember I was so stressed out about like voting him out and lying to his face that I like started tearing up. But like in that moment, I was like, I can't tell him I'm about to vote him out. So I'm kind of crying and saying like, I'm just afraid that Shane, like the reason why he hasn't talked to me is because he's going to vote me out. And I think that probably sold it to him very well because I did seem so emotional. It felt
that's
dirty.
cold, Heidi. That's
Oh, I
cold.
know.
That's cold blooded.
Like we recorded twice together, I think, and that was the third time. That was the third time I think we met, and we didn't record that one. That was just we were in Wilbur's Cross together talking, and then obviously we blindsided him. I think it was dumb not to tell Alex about it. In hindsight, there was no need to create that divide, but just at the time, it was like, well, he's voting for. I don't know why we felt we had to keep it hush hush, but yeah, that's how that vote went.
So
if Bijan cried every time he lied to someone, would have been such a different season.
I never lied.
that would have been horrible. I would not have been able to deal with that. Or if that would have. I'm glad.
Would have been a different edit.
Yeah. After the cameras were off, the sobbing started. Yeah. Heidi, what was it like being in the minority of the Kemet tribe? That was probably the low point of your game after Shane was voted out and you were in a pretty tough spot and likely the next boot if that tribe did go to tribal. What was that like for you at the time?
I was just so mad for like a lot of different reasons. I didn't understand the fake idol thing because I was like, why did you have to dunk on us? Like Shane couldn't do anything. Like he could have just voted him out. I searched for hours for that fake idol. And like I don't know. It was just I was mad, and then the challenge. There's the eating challenge, which I'm so bad at. Like we see later in this finale, like I try to eat the sardines in that one challenge and spit it back up and switch to the saltines. Like I try so hard with the eating stuff and I can't do it. But for the running one, we had to sit out, but like Barrett didn't show up to that. And he was safe. He didn't need to worry about like impressing his tribe, but I was so mad. I was like, if we lose this, like I'm going home. Like that's not fair because I'm playing. I want to keep playing. And then obviously I didn't do anything to help us win that challenge either because I came off the rope and went looking for an advantage. But it was frustrating. It was definitely frustrating. And at the time when the fake idol was played, I thought everyone was in on that. I thought Matt knew about it. I thought Hope knew about it. I thought Barrett knew about it. I was so mad and like embarrassed that like I didn't really reach out and talk to anyone about it. I walked home with Hope that night because we lived in the same direction. And I remember like saying like, oh, like, did you know that the like fake idol was there like when we went looking together? And she seemed confused, and I was like, okay, so she's playing stupid. Everyone's just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Like I was so frustrated. And yeah, I think that was part of my resentment for Matt too, because Matt, I did think that you were part of that afterwards. I was like
Yeah, and
all of it. I was just like
did you know about that, Matt? When did Robbie let you in on like that was going down for that round?
Absolutely. I knew like a week in advance, but it's kind of like with Robbie, like when you bring a kid to Disney World, like you want him to do everything. Like I knew Robbie was going to do it no matter what. I'm not going to tell him not to. You know, like
Robbie needed the Mickey ears. There was no stopping him.
He's having the time of his life. I'm not going to stop him.
That's too funny.
That
was a miserable time. I was
that
like,
was a good metaphor for Robbie. Heidi, what part of your game, what aspect of your game or moment are you the most proud of that either like you specifically remember or you think was a deciding part of why you won?
I hate to say it because watching it back, it did still feel really cold and I did still feel really bad, but voting Alex out was still like a really exciting time for me. Even though I think a lot of the credit goes to Bijan for controlling that vote, I wouldn't have been able to do anything if Bijan wasn't pulling the strings. I think in our season, you saw like a lot of people, like as they knew and got the sense that they were about to be voted out, they kind of like let it happen at a certain point. They're like, okay, like I guess this is the end. And I know for me, like I did have a point where I was like, okay, I guess this is it. I guess I'm just done. But after Alex and I had met, I saw Bijan like in the hallway and the gears started turning and I was like, I need to do something. Like I can't I can't go out without doing anything because I'm having way too much fun with this to like want to be out. Like I want to keep being able to participate. Like participating from the jury would be fun and it'd be exciting. But I was having too much fun with it to not want to keep going. So going into that, I wasn't expecting much. I didn't really have a plan. Like I told Bijan, like I told Karolina and Alex to vote for me, play the idol, and I'll send anyone home. And in my head, I was just gonna vote Barrett no matter what Bijan told me, because I was like, I'm going to stay close to my allies. But that was the first time that the game really felt really, really intense to me. And seeing Alex go home and knowing that I was staying in the game was exciting. In the moment, I think I like forgot to feel bad because I was so excited with the fact that I hadn't been voted out. So it's my proudest and not proudest moment at the same time, I think.
Yeah, not Alex's proudest, probably, but there's a lot of great moments for Alex that we'll talk about. Lastly, Heidi, I just wanted to ask you what is Survivor UConn in this experience? What has that meant to you?
Oh, it's meant so much. I think I gained a lot of confidence in myself throughout the season. I think it's something that my high school self never would have pictured me doing. I think I was very shy and awkward. I think like you see myself at like Final Tribal Council and like in my confessionals, like where I just kind of like ball up and I'm like not able to look at anyone. But I think it did like the weirdness of the club, like it's very unique. I think doing something like that was a big deal to me and it helped me gain a lot of confidence. I went for a promotion at my workplace like that same semester, which I don't think I would have done if I wasn't playing this at the same time, I felt like a Survivor high, like the entire season. Like I felt like way more high energy and way more confident in myself. Throughout that, obviously, Ryan, we've been dating for like over a year now. One of my roommates was also like a producer. Like I became really close friends with production when season 3 started. Because when season 3 started, I still wanted to be a part of it. I was like, I want to watch what happens now. So every opportunity that I could, I would show up to help film or help with the challenges like you see Mark and Alex doing in this season. And I've made some amazing friends because of it. So it's been great. It means a lot.
That's awesome. It's been great having you, and you're an amazing part of the season. Obviously, you're my favorite person ever, but that's besides the point. But it was great. All right, so moving on, our runner-up, Karolina. Karolina, I just wanted to ask you broadly, what was this experience like for you? I know this was your freshman year also. So what was it like for you?
I think it definitely, looking back, changed me a lot as a person. I think just like being, like Heidi said, being more confident and sort of being able to meet more people and kind of like step out of my comfort zone and do something that like my high school self never would have done. And also just kind of seeing familiar faces on campus as a freshman, that meant the world. Like our campus is huge, and like just being able to see friendly faces and smile at you, and that was just one of the best parts. And sort of meeting people where sort of from all different majors, and like where you wouldn't normally meet people from different like major specific clubs or anything. So it was amazing to meet a wide variety of people and sort of be able to sort of make those connections on campus. And that was one of my favorite parts.
So you were an undecided major, speaking of majors, during your freshman year. What are you majoring in now as a junior?
Yeah, so I'm a finance major now.
Nice.
School of Business.
I love that. So what was it like? I know a big relationship for you in this game was with Maddie. You two were friends and on the rowing team together, so you guys knew each other. I believe you lived on the same floor that year. So what was it like playing with Maddie, someone you were so close with?
Yeah, so coming in, we sort of wanted to play our own separate games. But as sort of the merge happened and the new sort of tribes, we decided it would be more strategic to sort of be with each other. And that was really helpful with sort of getting the numbers and having someone on your side. I think it was a really divided line at one point in the game, and it was just sort of the old red tribe and then everyone else. But it was nice knowing that someone was sort of like on your side no matter what, and that was an ally that you could trust no matter what. But also I kind of would have liked to see sort of us playing more separate games, but we sort of got to see more of that after sort of that vote out for her.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, because I think, because even if you want to play separate games, people in the game will ultimately always think you aren't. So it's kind of just an impossible thing to escape once people recognize it. So a big point in the season for you, besides one of my favorite moments actually, was in the last episode where you give that little side eye to Alex during the when he gets voted out. That was funny. I never have seen that before. But in the finale, you have this great final immunity challenge win. It's your first win of the season for individual immunity. It's only your third win overall, because you and Bijan weren't winning much in the pre-merge either. So what was it like winning that challenge? And then ultimately, how did you come to the decision to take Heidi to the end over Bijan? Because I know Heidi and Bijan were two people you were really close to throughout the merge.
Yeah, to start, Bijan, I'm so sorry. It haunts me to this day.
No, oh my God. You made the right decision. It's okay.
Well, don't fret. It really was a really hard decision to make. I think I was like still deciding like right up to the final tribal council, and it was really stressful just because there were two completely different sides. Um, with Bijan, he played a really amazing social game, and he knew a lot of people very personally, and he talked to a lot of them. And so I think that gave him strength in being likable with the jury. And but on the other side of that, he also had some enemies, um, which something I did not know was that like Barrett would have voted against him with the blackmail in the final episode. I think having known that, I think maybe just sort of considering more of the enemy side, I think my decision would have been different. But I think where my head was at was that Heidi and I played kind of similar games, but and so I thought that sort of with us being more sort of separate, whereas Bijan worked with a lot of people and he knew a lot of people, I thought Heidi and I would be on a more level playing field. And that's sort of where my decision came into play.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think if you were against Bijan, Bijan has more votes like locked in already than Heidi does, but also some maybe possibly locked against him like Barrett. I was thinking maybe Hope. I didn't think Bijan Hope's relationship was that great compared to some of the other relationships. So that's possible. And then I think Heidi, on the other coin, you have a lot more swing votes, but I think ultimately most of those landed on her. So that's where we ended up with that. But yeah, definitely a tough decision. It's especially terrible in these final two seasons where one person has all the weight put on them. And I mean, that's what I love about them. It's really tough for the person in that position, but I think it's really great to watch. And I'm glad you guys all did it respectfully and are all still cool with each other, because that's a really tough spot and decision. So Karolina, what was a high point or a really great memory for you from the game?
I think one really fun memory was sort of stalking the other tribe or team. I think that was really funny, and it just like we just felt so mischievous, and like we thought we were so good and like we thought we were like gonna get the most, like we were gonna be able to blackmail them or steal their info. But even though we got no like super important info out of it, it was such like a fun experience. And I thought that was super fun and like secretive and something that we kept to ourselves and were able to look back on.
Yeah, I love that the Blue Verdefoy tribe, as much as they suffered early on, ultimately the final five were 3 out of 5 Verdefoy, and none of you guys ultimately took it down, but it showed you were a strong tribe, and it's a lot more than challenge that goes into it. It's a strategy social game, so you guys did very well with that. All right, so next up we have our final juror of the season, Bijan. Bijan, it's great to finally chat with you. Ethan, do you have something to say?
I do. Just before we get to Bijan,
Yes.
because I'll probably have a million questions for him anyways. Heidi and Karolina, you both mentioned you were both freshmen. It was only your second semester of college, and how it was something you never thought you would do, and how it was this crazy like big jump into a weird club, a weird world with people you would never meet otherwise. So what draws you into that? Like what made you want to be a part of the club and engage with it? Because neither of you were huge Survivor fans either. Heidi had no idea about it going in. So
Karolina knew a little more. I think she put like 5 or 6 on her application. I can't remember.
But what brought you in? Like what pointed you our way?
I know you can go, Karolina.
Okay. So if you watch season 1, my friend Issa was actually a contestant, and she spoke of like sort of the challenges that she was able to do and sort of like what the club entailed. And I was like, how is that even like possible? Like that they can like, it was so cool that you were running like an actual Survivor game show and like recording it, and it sounded like just something like no other club on campus would do that, and no other club on campus is so interactive and like actually puts in sort of the effort to make it so special. And that was definitely something that interested me. And then I attended the info session, and the rest was history.
Yeah, shout out to Issa. Shout out to
You
Issa.
did a lot better than Issa, but
Yeah,
thank you.
you did. Yeah, that you redeemed Issa a little. Issa had a rough go. I'm glad I heard from you and Maddie that she told you guys about it. It's awesome that even though she didn't go super far, it was definitely impactful to her, and I'm glad you guys had a good time.
And Karolina took over one of my favorite roles, Erica being one of my favorite season 1 characters for all of her reactions to things, and Karolina lived up to that part.
The
eye rolls,
stuff.
the side glance towards Alex. Like, you just had to keep your eye on Karolina because you didn't know what she was gonna do. It'd be subtle but perfect.
For me, I know when I signed up for Survivor, I went to like the club fair looking for like a self-defense class. Like I really wanted to take like a self-defense thing. And the day that it met was like I had just gotten my work schedule because I just started at my new job. Was a night that I had work. So I remembered being really dejected because I had only gone to the fair for that one thing. And then like 2 tables over is Ethan. I'm pretty sure Ethan was at the table when I signed up, and he was like, well, come check out our club. And like he started talking to me about it, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I know that day I had signed up for like a million clubs using like my school email. And I remember like this one stuck out to me a lot more, and I was like, I don't want to lose this email when they send out like the application and stuff. So I used my personal email, something Ryan's made fun of me for because he had all the @uconn.edus and then my Gmail. But I remember I missed the info meeting and I was mortified because I thought for sure that meant I wouldn't get cast. And then I proceeded to go to work, and I changed my work schedule so I'd have every night free, so that I would like maximize like my desirability like on my application. So like the club that I didn't end up joining because of my work schedule, I went and I changed my work schedule to make Survivor UConn work, because I think I'd work like Thursday nights or something like that, and that ended up being one of our big meeting nights. But it drew me in immediately. I know on the application there was like a link to go watch one of Marilyn's episodes. I remember watching that and thinking that was really cool. I likened it to Total Drama Island, like the entire season, like just the idea of being like on reality TV, like was really alluring to me. So that was kind of my reasoning for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to hear that. Shout out to Ethan for his recruiting abilities. Good job, Ethan.
I'm very loud. I try and tone it down on the computer for those who don't know, but I project across a whole room. That's how I get them in.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so back to where we were. So Bijan, just in general, just overarching, what was this game and experience like for you? I know this took place during your senior year, second semester, so you were on the way out, heading towards med school where you are now. So what was that semester of the game like for you?
Well, I'm just happy that I got to like do it before I graduated. I remember like my friend sent me a Snapchat. I guess she was like sitting behind you in class, like the semester that you started planning for like the first season, and she sent me this, and I was like, how the fuck do I find out about this? Because if I do not do this, like
wait. So like my what did I spreadsheets open? What was I doing?
I got like a PowerPoint, and I got a Snapchat. Survivor UConn, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, if anybody would know, like it should be me. And I had no idea what it was. And then luckily, like somebody sent me like an email about it, like the second semester. It was like on the bottom of like the daily, whatever.
Yeah, shout out to Tot with the Daily Digest getting us Bijan. Good job, Tot.
That was key because I obviously am a little too old to be going to the involvement fair, so I wasn't going to find out about it there.
But you read the Daily Digest. I don't do
No,
that.
I don't read it. I don't read it.
You check it out. You check it out. You glance.
The skim.
Somebody sent it to me and they were like, this sounds like
Okay.
something to do. And I was like, duh. So, I mean, and this was like a dream because I had been watching like Survivor Maryland before I had, done Survivor UConn. So it's like I always wanted there to be like a college Survivor at UConn. So, I mean, it was like a dream come true that I even got to do this. Like I had stopped watching like real Survivor because I hate watching like other people do what I want to do because I'm like, I could do better than these people. Like, I don't want to watch this. Like, so it was like a dream that I actually got to do it myself.
So, Bijan, you were a big presence throughout the season. Definitely the most confessionals. Definitely a lot of control and power throughout the season. What moments or move are you the most proud of, or you think maybe your most memorable?
I guess watching it back. I mean, what am I most proud of? I guess I was really scared when we first emerged because like I don't know if it comes across in the episodes, but like I felt like Robbie was such a big like force in the game. And to me it was like I'm never gonna be able to get this kid out of here. Like there's just no chance. So and especially like when like Matt was kind of like working with Robbie, then I'm like, well, there's no fucking way it's gonna happen. But then like the split vote, obviously like that moment is just hilarious to watch. I think that was probably like my favorite moment of the season. Yeah, I'll say the split vote was pretty good.
So,
5-3 is a beautiful number.
It was amazing.
it
The
was
reactions afterwards were funny too, I thought.
it was pretty great. It was very well done by all members of your alliance had a part in that, and it was very good. You played your idol during the Alex vote, which I believe was the last round you could play it. It was a weird rule. I think it was because this season was originally going to be a final three when I planted the idols, and I wanted the idols to like not be too late in the game in a final three. I've gotten over that since, sorry, but it didn't ultimately matter for you. I think you would have been fine either way. But yeah, so then when it was a final two, final six just seems really weird and early. I would have preferred it to be final five, but obviously you play it that round. Was there ever a round before that you considered playing the idol, or did you feel pretty comfortable throughout the game?
I considered playing it at the merge, the first round of the merge, because originally the plan was like do 5v5 and we're just gonna find out who they're voting and I'll play the idol on them. Well, we're gonna try to get them to vote me. Like there was a confessional where I was like, I told Alex like maybe you should tell Robbie and Matt like let's just vote Bijan out, and like I would have been fine playing the idol on myself there. I'm happy that I didn't have to do that because ultimately I think maybe that could have made me even a bigger threat at the time, and people seeing that I had an idol and now finally I don't, like, let's get him. But I that was the only moment where I was like, maybe I should play the idol. I did tell Matt that I was going to give him the idol if he had lost that challenge. I don't really know if I would have done it. I feel like I would have felt bad if I didn't, but I probably wouldn't have done it. So
I was wondering that. Why did you tell Matt that? You didn't need to.
Ryan, I have ADHD. I just talk. Literally, I just talk. I feel like although like I have like a good sense of like game strategy and like I understand how to like play the social game, I understand the strategic game. Like one thing that I can't help is that like if you talk to me long enough, like I'm gonna tell you good information just because like that's how I am and I want to like talk about everything. And I'm so excited to be in the game that like I'm going to tell you everything. There were times where I was telling like Alex stuff that I should not have told him, Matt stuff that I should not, everybody, like, I don't know. So that's like definitely like my downfall is like I talk too much.
It was also a positive. It had its benefits and negatives, especially because certain people in the cast weren't talking enough. So you were able to benefit from that. Which round were you the most worried? Was it the merge round? Was it the round where Alex went out, where you heard that he might be willing to vote you eventually? Was there a round where you were particularly like worried for your game or maybe the future of the game?
I guess I was never really worried I'd be voted out. I was more worried that I'd lose control. So like the only round where I was like, oh wow, like I really might be voted out was the final three. Every other round that I was worried, I was like, I might not have control over this vote, or I might not have a say in who goes home. The round where Alex went out, I feel like at the time, like when Heidi came up to me about it first, it was like, I'm not gonna listen to her because she was like, oh, I'll vote out anybody you want, and like I wasn't gonna vote out Karolina. Barrett was a waste of a vote. Matt was safe. I was like, it's either Heidi or Alex. And then like the more I like thought about it, I was like, well, like if there's like a Heidi and Carolina side and like a Matt and Barrett side, like it might be best for me to be in the middle of that in the final five. And Alex and me would kind of be like a side if he was in the game, and then that would kind of give Matt the power to flip. I felt so it worked out, but I never really felt like, oh God, I might lose. Like only like at the final three. Once I dropped that stack on the bat, I was like, okay, probably not winning.
Yeah, so similar to that, say Carolina, Alex is in Heidi's spot, and the final three is you, Alex, and Bijan, and you win the final immunity challenge as you did. Do you think you would have taken Bijan in that scenario because you were probably closer to Bijan than Alex, or do you think you take Alex in the hopes that that's a more likely win? It's okay if you don't know.
Wait, with just so Alex and Bijan?
Yeah, say Alex were in Heidi's spot in the final three, and it's between Alex and Bijan.
I honestly probably would have stuck with not Bijan. Just at the time, I was so convinced that everyone, not only did he play an amazing game, but everyone knew that because he sort of spoke to everyone and formed connections with them. So everyone was familiar with how well he played the game and all the moves he took. And I thought that the jury would really respect that. So I think I would sway for Alex in that case.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was tough Bijan by that point. I feel like it was very well known, and then there, on top of the fact that you weren't the best at challenges, not the best.
Yeah, that's why I kind of felt like if I'm gonna be in the final three, like I need to put myself with two people who I think I could beat in a challenge. And like I was like, I know I'm not gonna be Matt in most challenges. Barrett had to go because Barrett already won two, and I was like, he could probably beat me. And I was like, I've done like better than Karolina and Heidi in some challenges. Like I feel like both of them probably did better than me in most of them, but like I feel like that was my best chance to win. I felt like if it was anything like with running or like a puzzle or like kind of like, yeah, running or a puzzle, I felt like I could win, but I knew if it was anything that involved like me holding my hand steady, it was not going to work.
Yeah, I think originally you told me, Ryan, don't give me the Suri challenge with the marbles. I think you told me that you were worried. And it's funny because I originally was planning on doing that challenge like way at the start of the season. That's what we were going to do for final three. And I was whittling like a dowel because I had a bunch of wooden dowels, and I was like whittling the notch in the dowel where like the marble would rest in the challenge, because that's how it is. You press in with the other dowels, and there's a marble like rocking in like a notch in a dowel. And I remember I was in my dorm room, and I was whittling away, and I freaking sliced the hell out of my finger, and I had this giant gash in my finger that was like bleeding heavily. So I had to like wrap it, and like the worst cut I've ever got. So I had to wrap it, and I had to go to the school nurse, and they patched me up, and it was fine. I didn't need stitches, thankfully. But then I was like, we're scrapping the challenge. I can't whittle anymore. I'm gonna cut myself again. So
we tried to like go to the engineering building and borrow tools, but none of us are actually engineers. It was a whole process.
Yeah, we didn't have the infrastructure for that, so I was just using like a very cheap blade that was not good at all. So
it was good enough to cut him, but not
so
the
we ended up with not Bijan screaming at me in the moment because I gave him the challenge he didn't want, but another balanced challenge that
a different challenge he didn't want.
Wasn't for the best. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's my main stuff for Bijan. Ethan, did you have anything else?
So we talked about like the highs and if you were worried about anything. What regrets do you carry from the game, if any?
Honestly, nothing. I don't know what I could have done better. Oh wait, no, there was one. Oh well, I shouldn't have told Alex about my idol and Matt about my idol. I feel like I wish I kept that like more secretive, but like if I did, I don't think it would have benefited my game anymore. I think I could have done a better job convincing Karolina to take me at the end, because like I feel like I was like strong arming too much, and like looking back, I was like, oh, maybe I should have like tried harder. And then watching it, I was like, oh, I should have tried less. Like I don't know what I could have done, but like I feel like Carolina said, like bringing up the like, you know, Barrett's definitely not going to vote for me. Like I think that would have helped, because maybe I could have like appealed to the emotional side more. Like I totally could have fake cried and like said
He
how bad.
cried. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I was ready to cry like on command always. And then I had the fake Heidi text message ready, like Heidi like literally telling me, I don't know if first I tried it by changing my friend's name in my phone to Heidi, and then I had them text me like a bunch of stuff. And then I was like, this doesn't look good. And then I just tried to like send myself messages, and it was like Heidi basically saying, yeah, I already know that I'm going to win the game. Like there's no way Carolina beats me, this and that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to send it. But then I thought that would be playing too hard, but clearly it didn't matter.
Didn't you tell that to Carolina anyway?
I told
I-
you that we met, yeah. And then you told me that you're pretty sure you're going to beat her. But I had like evidence, you know?
Yeah.
I was
Because
ready.
I remember Carolina when we got to final 3 tribal council. We hadn't spoken since the challenge.
Yeah.
I think. And Carolina, I think you asked me like, did you say these things? And I had no idea what you were talking about.
I knew I should have had the receipts. I don't know. That was a rookie mistake. I don't know. I was willing to lie and do anything at that point. Like I felt a little bit defeated. Like, you know, it's probably not going to go my way, but like I felt like I had to try something, and I don't know.
It was a good effort, and it was great watching you throughout the season, Bijan. You were absolutely a star, and that's shown through. And I think the people that have commented have definitely enjoyed watching you. So
I don't know. I have haters too.
You have haters too. Everyone here has their fans and haters. I'm pretty sure that's just how it goes.
My friends love Matt and Alex. I was like, why? Like, why not?
Why not?
My friend's like, you should work with Adge. I was like, okay, we'll see. No spoilers.
I felt like Matt was the fan favorite all throughout. I saw a lot of Matt stands.
The reactions throughout, most people thought Matt had the winner edit and that he was going to get it. I think that's because I talked about Matt every chance I could the entire season. So that probably boosted him up. But yeah, I think Matt, you might have been the fan favorite.
People would tell me like every week, like my brother watched like the post show like before I even got to, he's like, yeah, another week, like another person saying Matt's gonna win or something. Like, I was like, all right, like I'll take it, like I'll run with it. It was awesome. So I want to shout love to all my fans out there. I did it for you guys.
Matt mob, that's what it is.
Yes.
Barrett had the Buckaroos, Matt has the mob.
The mob. Barrett Buckaroos is so funny.
I had not heard that until the finale, and then it shows up and I lose it.
The Barrett Buckaroos. Yeah. Yeah. So with that, let's move on to Matt. So Matt, with what you were saying, I think you were definitely a person a lot of people throughout this season were thinking had a good chance of winning. And I think that likelihood went down when you were winning so many immunities and your back was against the wall. Then people were like, all right, well, he's done when he loses a challenge. And I think everyone in the game kind of had that mindset too. So, but to start off, Matt, what was this game and experience like for you overall?
It was honestly so amazing. So when I started my fall or spring semester sophomore year, half my suite, like half my best friends, they left UConn. You know, it was kind of just like a tough period of time, and I really wanted to get involved. And I was like walking through the involvement fair, you know, just a little sophomore, and I was like, you know, they might be onto something here. Like, let's go for it. And it was really just so much fun. Like, for me, like I'll honestly say, like I didn't even care about winning most of the time. I was like, I just want to be here. So every Tuesday, Thursday, like I know I get to see like the Survivor gang and like see Ethan and like wink at him behind the camera and like everything. Like I loved it. And then it's twofold because now here we are during a pandemic and my family's coming together and my friends are texting me, they're watching and they're like, yo, like I didn't even know you watched Survivor, but like I just watched your challenge on YouTube. And it's just like so cool to have that. Like it's such a morale booster, really. So great experience.
That's awesome. I'm glad that's been great for you. Another dub for the recruiting team there. Looks like well, you did really well during that involvement fair, Ethan, I guess.
I think season 2 was my best involvement fair. I think that was the one where I roped him in as well as I could.
That was a good one. We had a good spot for that involvement fair in Gamble, and then season 4 we had a terrible spot. So
season 2 was also the year I stole a chair from Gamble. That was the best involvement fair we've ever had.
Yeah, shout out to the TB12 chair.
I still have it in my house. It's downstairs. The goat chair is epic.
Didn't you sit on that when the Patriots beat the Rams?
I sat on it during the Super Bowl. I printed out stuff to decorate it as Tom Brady because it was like a chair number 12 from Gamble that I just walked out with. UConn gave me something back after I gave them a lot of
You
tuition.
Gave them thousands of dollars.
There's a stealing fee in your tuition, so you got
I'm just living up to it.
You're just making sure you get what you're paying for in your stealing fee. Is there really a stealing fee?
They have fees built in for expected, like you breaking shit.
Is it called a stealing fee?
At a dining hall.
What's it called?
But it's something very similar.
Oh, I got.
It's like theft fee or something like that. It's like $70. They charge you $70 for like anticipated people stealing.
I should have taken more chairs.
You should have.
At least they're honest. I would expect them to just tack that onto some other arbitrary fee, but whatever. Matt, your back was against the wall throughout this merge. After that first merge vote, and then Robbie went down, and then slowly the red members who you grown close to went down kind of one by one until you succumbed to it at final 5. What was that merge like for you to be just against the wall the whole time?
Well, if I could like backtrack a little bit, I felt like I was done like from the first tribe swap, because I remember standing next to like Bijan and Adj and like Karolina, and they all just get the pink bandanas, and I pull out the orange, and my literal first thought was like, well, I'm done. And I remember looking back and seeing, I think, Robbie, Hope, and Barrett talking. I'm like, they're gonna throw the challenge to get rid of me. I just immediately went into like panic mode. Like I didn't even think of Shane. I was just like, I'm done, I'm screwed. And like this is something that's bothered me watching the season back, because like everyone's like, why is Matt so close to Robbie? Like, why is he doing what they say? Like in my mind, like this was my only option I had. You know, I felt like Bijan. I think I was dumb every week. I was like, oh yeah, like maybe Bijan will vote. Like obviously he's not gonna vote with us, but like I just like felt like I couldn't trust him. So like Robbie took me in, and I was like, hey, like as long as it's not me. And seeing Kira go like in the beginning of the merge and stuff, it was nerve wracking. I was like, this whole game just changed, but I kind of had to just keep this mindset like as long as it's not me. And that obviously only took me so far, but it did help me get a lot farther than I expected. So that was pretty cool.
So Matt, why did you decide to merge? So your main allies around merge time were you had Robbie and Kira and like Moynihan's like surrounding that you were close to from the swap, and then Bijan was your main ally from your original tribe. So I think from my perspective, when the time the season was coming, or this time the season was actually playing out, I thought you were in the best spot in the game at the merge, because you had Bijan, who was a big player on one side, and you had your other alliance on the other side. I thought you might be able to ride the middle, but then you kind of like stuck to the Reds, and then that kind of got you attached to them. I think Bijan said that, mentioned that he just kind of got worried about you once you're so close to the Reds. Why did you decide to stick with them?
I think it was kind of paranoia. Like Bijan's like, oh, my boy Matt is like hanging with Robbie now, but I was like, my boy Bijan just voted out Adj, and like as far as I knew, like we were tight, like we were going till the end or whatever. So I honestly kind of just retreated, and that was my biggest mistake, socially, strategically, definitely. But yeah, I just felt like I couldn't trust anyone. And honestly, Heidi, Karolina, like I feel like I never really even talked to you guys during the game, like too much, like privately, strategically. So I didn't really know him too much. Alex, same thing. So I was kind of like Robbie and I, like we take the bus back up to our dorm together. Like that's how we talk, just how Bijan and I bonded in his car rides at the beginning, but just kind of switched the dynamic, you know. As soon as our alliance with me, Bijan, Adj, and the other 3 Reds was over, I was like, so are Bijan and I, like we're done.
Yeah, Bijan, did you ever think that would blow back on you? Like, were you like when you made that move on Adge, and I think that was the first big move of the game was when you guys turned on Adge at that swap.
That was all Maddie Karolina. I was I did not want Adge. Okay, that was all Maddie.
Yeah.
Maddie like floated the Adge idea. I just didn't care enough about Adge to keep her. Like I like Adge.
Okay,
but
wait. I got okay. The first time I met up with Bijan, I'm pretty sure he's like, dude, Adge is a huge threat. She knows Kira. So.
I knew she was a threat, but like I didn't like my ideal vote would have been Kiwan. I just kind of like went with the flow. But like I kind of knew it would backfire on me, but I felt pretty secure with Karolina, Maddie, and Alex, and they seem to think that when we're merging, like we can get Heidi. And I seem to think when I was merging, I was like, Matt's gonna come back anyways. It's fine. He'll understand. And I think like kind of like the turning point was when I saw like I referenced like I saw Matt at the gym and we were talking about it. It was like the one time I went to the gym all semester. And he was like, he seemed like pretty like secure and like he seemed like really like adamant about sticking with Robbie. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like that's when I was like, because I'm jealous. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, where did that come from? So that was like my moment where I was like, that I guess like it did backfire on me more than I thought it would. I thought that Matt would just come right back.
Robbie stole Matt from you.
And when I met Robbie, like I understood why. He's very charismatic and like, you know, he makes you want to work with him, I think at least. Like I like his personality. Like I really like him and like he's very nice and like he like knows a lot about the game. Like I would want to work with him too. So he's
also a bigger shield than you were, like to everyone else too, which is one thing I think that drove it too.
That's true. He was.
Yeah.
I think the other thing with Robbie is his games are so crazy and he was so open with them with Matt. Like watching that back, I was like, yeah, I would have wanted to work with Robbie too. If he's sharing like the fake idol stuff and like he's like, I got the real one and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. I think that's like also crazy. Magnetic, I think, when you're playing.
Yeah, that Adge vote was also hugely beneficial for Karolina specifically. I thought was a great move for you and Maddie, of course, because I mean, Adge was gunning for like you and Neil at the first round where Neil went home and she made those two group chats and it was visible that Adge didn't care who went home, whereas I think Bijan wanted Karolina in more and Matt wanted Neil in, and it seems like Adge kind of broke that tie and made that decision. But like, I mean, obviously with those group chats, like what were you thinking when those group chats came out and you and Neil traded notes? That's like one of my favorite like small moments of the season is you and Neil trading notes and being like, yo, what the fuck is this?
The group chats were crazy because so what happened was Neil sent me a screenshot. I wasn't going to say anything because I thought I was safe. So I know, but it was kind of selfish on my part, but Neil decided to send me that they were planning to vote me out. And I was like, wait, I got the same text. So I kind of threw him under the bus after that point, and I met with him and I told him that we would try to get the votes on Adge and that I'd talk to everyone else. I'd talk to Bijan and Matt and try to get the votes off of us and onto Adge. Neil was definitely gunning for Adge. But I was kind of able to share that Neil wanted Adge out and then also talk to everyone to try to get it on Neil since he was already in a weakened position. So while we could have gotten Adge out at that point, we could have tried to. I thought my best bet going forward was try to put the votes on Neil.
I think it was the right move, especially because I mean, obviously you guys swapped that next round, but even if you hadn't swapped that next round, you would have swapped soon. So I think it was definitely your best move, and you either hope you swap or win immunity there, and you did. You swapped, so that was good. And going back to Matt, my last question I have for you, Matt. Do you think any of those rounds you didn't have immunity, or any of the rounds you did have immunity at the merge, you could have survived without it?
Honestly, no. looking back at it, like I remember Bijan saying after the one challenge Robbie and I won, like, oh, like you didn't have to win, like you would have been fine. But like watching the episode, like I think it's very clear, like I was not fine at all. Like me and Robbie were both such like on the chopping block. So I really think I needed it every week. And you know, every before every challenge, I'd go look in the mirror and be like, you need to win this. And it works for a while. And then I remember with the last challenge that I lost, as soon as you explained like the person voted out in the votes, I remember asking about it over and over. And I was like, this is gonna trip me up, like this is gonna screw me over. And it was my downfall. If I get past that, watching the challenges, you know, you never know. Like I think it could have been a totally different game, but I mean, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, and that's one of my main regrets, Matt, and I want to apologize, is the penalty votes. I really while regardless, like you said, I don't think those really affected your game, because if anything, they might have helped, because it was like, oh, I could get Matt out at any time because we have penalty votes. But I did feel bad that it felt like you got hurt by those pretty hard, because I didn't expect you and Robbie to take so many. I was like, someone's gonna give, and then you kept taking them, and I was like, shit. So then we were like, we need to end the challenge before
Where
Matt
they're
and Robbie
voted.
are
Before
totally
we hit like final four, you have a penalty vote.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
one
I think you're
person
going, it
needs
was
to
going to be
throw
like,
you
you're going to
in
have
there.
negative jury votes.
Yeah, so that was too much, and I apologize, but it made you have a very interesting season. I think yeah, it was very memorable, and your immunity challenge little streak in the middle there was a really awesome part of the season, I think, because it helped that they weren't just picking off you and Barrett, which was nice, because there was already a bit of pagonging in the middle there with Kira, Hope, and if you include Kiwan, 4 reds in a row. So
yeah,
Right.
it was fun though.
Speaking of Kiwan, I don't know why. Like, I obviously now know why Adge got voted out. I don't know why in the moment they didn't vote out Kiwan and go after some reds. I don't know why, Matt, you guys didn't throw the challenge and get rid of Heidi.
yeah,
Like,
what?
do
Yeah,
you
was
have
there
any
any
more
was there any
insight into
talk
that?
of that? Yeah.
There was some talk. I think Robbie didn't. He just thought it might be too risky, and I think at this point I had not won a single challenge yet, and I was still pretty paranoid. So I think in my mind,
You won one.
I did
No.
win one. Okay.
No, he did, yeah.
That was the blindfold and math puzzle one you guys pulled out ahead
Oh
of
yeah.
Skilka.
Or did we come in second?
You came in
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I was tired of these, tribal councils. I was like, I just want a week where I can just do some schoolwork and like study. Like, let's win this. Like, let's dominate it. So yeah, I don't think we really thought of throwing it. Robbie may have humored the idea, and I was just like, no, let's go for the win. But realized like I need to just freaking win one. Like, no more tribal for me.
It's a huge thing because when you do have tribal, like y'all are meeting up, even if you have a plan, you're still like double checking every corner. But when you win, it's like, okay, we can just take a breath. Like, I'll catch up with these people when I can, but like I got 3 days that I don't have to do anything. So it's a big difference. It still blows my mind because they gifted like Red an extra person right before the merge, and then they had a chance to bring him to the merge by throwing, and it would have been all 5 Moynahans still in.
Yeah, half the merge being red would have been really interesting. Do you think you would have still voted with the Reds if all 5 were there at the merge, Matt? Do you think you start with that? Or do you think that puts you think that puts you in too tough a position going forward?
It's a really good question. I feel like it would have put me maybe in the best situation possible. I don't know. Like, I could really ride the middle then. Like, especially Robbie and I were like bonding a little bit, and like I could be like, Bijan, like, because I only talked to him on that side. Like, Bijan, I'm a little scared of all these reds. Like, what are you guys thinking? And kind of just ride the middle a bit more. I think seeing it now, like,
reds with you for sure. I
oh
would
yeah,
right away, yeah.
The whole game would have been different. Any different move would have been crazy. Karolina was almost like the first blue voted out instead of Neil. Like, Heidi changed it all up on Alex last minute. Like, Heidi wouldn't have won if we voted her out. Like, everything changes. It's so crazy to think about.
The butterflies.
I remember when I found out Adge went home, I was horrified. I was like, they're going
Heidi was the most
to
shook from that.
try. Because I texted Maddie. I was like, you have to make sure Kiwan goes home. I was like, there are too many reds in the game. I didn't understand what like a good merge number would be, but I was like, a red needs to go out. And then I found out Adj was still in, and I was like, if we lose this challenge, then I'll be out of the game and it won't matter because like I won't be here. But I was still like worried on everyone else's behalf. Like the idea of them going into the merge with 5 reds. I was shocked when I found out Adj went. That one confused me for the entire game.
I think one thing that they didn't like show, maybe like the whole like Adj, Shane, and Kira knowing each other, like that scared the shit out of me the entire season. Like I was so worried about like those 3 linking up when the merge came. And then I knew like Matt kind of knew Kira from before, I think. So I was like,
Yeah, like orientation.
Orientation.
Like
I was
very.
like, but if those 3 like linked up, I was like, that's not gonna be good. So I feel like that's why like Adj like also was kind of targeted because everybody knew that she knew Kira, and then like, yeah.
Yeah, those were our 3 friends going into the season. We usually have like anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 friends in each season, and they didn't do so hot in season 2. Oh no, Alex is not.
was in there, yeah.
Alex is my friend, but Alex is not in the same friend group as those 3, so I wasn't really thinking of those together.
Shane,
So
Kira, and Adj all lived within like a floor of each other. They were in the same building on top of each other like that.
Whereas Alex is my friend from high school that goes to UConn as well. So that's yeah, that was the difference there. But yeah, those 3 in that friend group, they didn't do so hot. But
y'all slept on the fact that Hope and Barrett were the same thing, like lived just a floor apart. Well, they also slept on that, I guess. They didn't really pair up anyway.
Yeah, well, I said this in a live show, but somehow I managed to put together an entire group of honors.
All 5 of
the
them
Moynahans were
luckily
all
at
honor
one
students, which was kind of sad and very poor. We do a little more scouting now to make that happen. So I couldn't believe I did that. I was like, no wonder they're winning all the stupid trivia challenges because they're all fucking nerds.
That's true. Sorry.
It's worth laughing at. Go for it.
And I feel like never mind. Okay, so speaking of Alex, I think we just were. Yeah, Alex is a friend of mine. Alex, let's talk about your game a bit. Alex, overall, what was this game and experience like for you? Tell me a little about it.
Well, I'm going to take it back a little bit. So obviously I knew Ryan in high school, and like I didn't even know he was a Survivor fan. Like I think I was just sitting next to him at lunch one day in high school, and he was on Twitter looking at some Survivor thing. I'm like, dude, I didn't even know you watched Survivor. He's like, yeah, I just started watching it. And then he just opens up a spreadsheet and he's just like, this is my winner rankings. This is my season rankings. I'm like, dude, I don't even have that. And I've been watching this for like 10 years. But yeah, and then
it was a quick love. It was a very quick love.
Yeah, so yeah, that's when like we started like talking about it. And then I remember freshman year, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make like the Survivor Club, and I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely do it. I passed on season 1, but I eventually did this season, and it was definitely like one of the best things I did in college. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Alex, you had a great story arc this season. I think it starts with you find yourself immediately on the bottom of your starting tribe as your initial first primary ally in Sawyer finds himself as the first boot, with everyone voting for Sawyer except for you and him. So what was it like, your journey in the game from being immediately on the outs to getting into the merge and kind of being in like a little power position there?
It was definitely really cool. Especially because like definitely for me, like the high point was the swap, because I knew I was screwed if I like lost another challenge with green, and then the trivia challenge was like right up my alley, and then we swapped, and then there was like the challenge where you like knock the cups off, and I just remember I beat Shane and Heidi in that, and like it just felt really good because I knew I was sending Shane to his own funeral. So but yeah, so yeah, and then like I don't know, it was just nice because like I feel like no one really wanted to talk to me except Sawyer on Green Tribe, and then at the merge like everyone wanted to talk to me. So yeah, it was pretty nice to see that change.
You were a hot commodity at the merge. It was fun to watch as well because you busted out of your shell because people made you in a way. Everyone was coming to talk to Alex. He's like, oh, guess I should talk to everyone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised that Robbie came to you, where you guys had never been on a tribe together. Where did this Robbie Alex connection come from?
Oh God. Well, so okay, one thing that I don't think was shown in the edit, and that's probably because the footage wasn't there, but I know I filmed some things with Kiwan, but I don't know if he uploaded them or something. But like me and Kiwan were like kind of close. And like he kept telling me, he's like, yeah, like Robbie wants to work with you. Like Robbie gave me the idol. And like yeah, I think through that, I just like I told Kiwan to play the idol. I thought it was fake, and I thought he would. The reason why I did that is because I thought he would play it, and then it would be fake, and then all of his alliance would be like, "Oh wow, like he doesn't care about us." But yeah, and then at the merge, like I knew I could play up the fact that like Maddie and Heidi like lied to me at the Sawyer vote, and then I could be like, Kiwan trusted me, so. Like I never had any bonds with like Kemba before the merge, so I knew I had to do something to like just make me not the easy target.
Yeah, I do remember now actually that Robbie just heard great things from Q1. He did say that during the episode, and I think on his live show a little. I think there was a little footage of you and Kiwan in like Kiwan's boot episode or the one before.
Yeah.
Maybe not all of it, but there definitely was some footage of you guys talking together. So in my opinion, Alex, you played one of the better games this season. I think along with Bijan, you had a lot of control during the merge, but whereas Bijan had this large target, you kind of didn't. And I thought for a while during like the mill merge, you'd be able to ride that to the end. And then it all kind of came crashing down during that final 6 tribal. Do you think just telling Heidi a little too much was your one mistake, or do you think there were some other problems in your game that you could have improved on?
I mean, I think I could have like worked on my perception a little more. I think people thought I was like sneaky and stuff. I guess I could have reached out to more people, but I also didn't want to because I already knew that I was talking to everyone, and like besides me and Bijan, like the lines were pretty solid. So I thought if I were talking even more to people, like I would have as big of a target as Bijan. But yeah, I think I should have just worked on like my general perception of like being sneaky.
I think one of my favorite moments on the show is at the touchy subjects. Bijan votes for you to have the idol, and you vote for him to have the idol. And Bijan has the idol, and Bijan's pissed. You voted for him, but you voted for Alex. So what's the difference?
But I actually had the idol. You have to understand.
You're trying to paint the target on his back.
Like.
But you paid the equal target on Alex's back, and Alex won that title.
But I'm me. Like, I'm allowed to do whatever the hell I want. You cannot, like, if you, like, with Barrett voting me, most, in my opinion, like, I'm allowed to do whatever I want because I'm going to get out who I want to get out. So if you want to stay in the game, like, stay on my good side. Don't be doing stuff like that. Like, and people like, you know, what do people actually think I have the idol? That was bad. I mean, obviously, like they can think Alex has the idol, but like I wasn't worried about Alex. I'm worried about me. You know, I'm a very selfish player, Ryan.
It worked out for the most part, so that was good. Yeah. That's fine. It was very fun. Alex, what was your personal favorite moment or high? Was it the swap like you said, or was it if it was the swap? What during the merge maybe was your favorite moment?
Yeah, it was the swap. But besides that, probably the Kira vote because I could just tell that we had like Robbie like so convinced that he was with us, and it was just great to see it play out and burn all those advantages also.
Yeah, it was really fun. I got invited to Survivor night at Robbie's with Alex and Kira when Alex is completely lying to their faces about we're gonna vote out Maddie or Karolina, or split the votes on Maddie and Karolina with Bijan. Oh, we got this, and it was so funny. But it sucked for them. But it was great gameplay. It set you guys up and the whole NATO alliance up to really dominate during this game. Yeah. Those are my main for Alex. Do you have anything else, Ethan?
Well, I think you played like there is no obvious clear cut cookie cutter way to play Survivor. There's a million different ways to get through the game and a million different ways to win it at the end. I think you played the best game up until you went out. Because you weren't going to go before Bijan. Bijan was definitely going to get lopped off before you. Even if Bijan threw your name out, I feel like you were tuned in enough in the game to figure that out and swing it back onto him the instant that happened. I thought you were going to win. I really did. So
we all did.
Yeah, all the props to you, Alex, because I was blown away. There was a lot of like growth stories in this season. Heidi was scared of production and the game at the very beginning, but then obviously like won it and is a huge thing now. Alex, like I was blown away. I thought you played phenomenally, and I don't really have a question. I just wanted to like plug you because I thought you were great.
Thank you.
I mean, I think the other great thing about Alex is I think everyone else in the game had mistakes leading up to it, and obviously of the four of the five here like got farther than Alex. I think Alex's one mistake just got exploited super heavily. Obviously, my own doing, but Alex, I do think that was your one and only mistake. I think Bijan made mistakes. I think I made mistakes. Karolina
Well,
and Matt
the
both
Sawyer
made
vote
many
was
mistakes.
pretty bad too.
Yeah. That was quite a mistake.
Okay.
Honestly, though, like I would have been out if it wasn't for Sawyer vouching for me. So at least I bonded with Sawyer, and that still kept me in.
Normally you get 3 strikes. Heidi threw the ball at your head and then came over and like hit you with a bat. That was how that one went.
Yeah, it was definitely awesome seeing you go
It was definitely like my red wedding moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely the perfect second to last episode, the dramatic episode before the finale. But it's my favorite of the season for sure.
Was it worth dropping early to go watch Game of Thrones?
I wasn't going anywhere. Also, I wasn't gonna win that challenge anyways.
You weren't.
I don't even get off early to go watch Game of Thrones. Like my arm was like actually hurting. Like,
I know.
I was outlasting Karolina. No chance. Like when I finished 30 minutes, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't even stay. And it was a really good episode. So
yeah, the premiere of season 8 was good.
Was it the premiere?
It went down from there.
Exactly, it went down from there. And I just want to say, Alex, like I was so impressed, like just watching it back because I didn't realize how amazing you're playing. And then I remember like the first like after show, it was their second after like Andrews was like, yeah, like Alex isn't going anywhere. Like I think he's the next out. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Like I was so excited to watch you play. I thought you played so amazing, and like I thought you were great.
Thank you. I feel the same about you. I would have voted for you at the end, like against anyone. Like I'm sure like Matt still beats you, but like I would have voted for you.
Thank you.
Another shout out to Alex too. It's an unaired season, but Alex, his second time won. The second time he ever played won.
I was gonna
Alex
get to
and Bijan
that.
both their second.
I didn't even know we were supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, I think we're okay to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the whole season because that kind of spoils which people are in and out of future seasons, and that doesn't actually mean they're out of future seasons. But we did run who left? Oh, Ethan just went. Okay. We did run a Zoom game during this semester during COVID, which Alex was a part of. And Alex, like an official UConn game that wasn't recorded just because it didn't feel like Zoom like benefited that format as much, and just trying to like take a break and be calm during COVID, but still have Survivor UConn. And it was a game with all Survivor UConn contestants from seasons 1 through 4 that have all been recorded, and Alex was our sole survivor in that. So congrats to Alex. And then similarly, I mentioned this last night on the live show, but we had a college survivor mini type of game that occurred for several hours throughout a night. and that
Several.
featured several. It was very long. How long was it? Like 8, 9, 10
I
hours?
went for almost 9 hours.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but we had people represented for a lot of college survivors. From our own college survivor, we had Catherine from season 1 and Bijan. And Bijan ended up taking home the win in, I think, a 6-2-0 vote. So that was very exciting to see, especially Bijan redeemed himself and won the final immunity challenge of that season. I was very worried you were going to end up in the same spot.
I got lucky.
But that was very great to watch. If you want to see clips of that on YouTube, it's not like edited together, so I don't think it's the best viewing non-live, but it's still fun. If you want to see Bijan win another game, you can type in a college survivor mini on YouTube. I think it comes up. But yeah, that was really exciting. Congrats to Alex and Bijan as well as Heidi. Three winners of games in the college survivor community just from this season. So that was kind of cool.
Season 2 is the best. I have no idea about any of the other seasons. Like, I honestly don't even know who wins season 3 or 4. I don't know who's on it. Because I obviously graduated, so I wasn't there. But like, they can't be better than us. So
Our cast was dominant.
very. So, we'll see.
I hope. Bijan, take a look. I know you will watch season 3. It'll live up to the hype.
Put me on the first episode of the after show because I'll definitely watch the first episode.
Gotcha.
You know I don't like to watch it. So
absolutely, we'll have to get you hooked, so you're obligated. So we'll just get you on after shows, so you'll have to watch.
Love it.
You do episode 1, then episode 7.
Yeah. But absolutely. So those are my overall questions for everyone. Ethan, did you have anything else you wanted to ask Alex? Or we already did that. Ask anyone else or bring up?
No, I want to thank all of you. Me and Ryan and everyone else on the production side have so much fun doing this. Like, the stress isn't on us, it's on y'all for 3 months to grind it out, and it's not easy, and it's unique and crazy, like you guys have said. So much love and respect and graciousness from us towards you guys for taking the leap of faith and trusting us to put something on for y'all, and y'all making it as amazing as you do. So all 5 of you are absolute stars, and I appreciate each of you.
Right back at you.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have done it without you guys, literally.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it's been very fun. It's been great experiencing this with all you guys and catching up tonight. This was a really fun season to watch, just because our editor did a really good job. So that was really special to me. There was also a different level of stress when I was not editing, and I could just enjoy it a little more. Because I never watched the episodes live from season 1 because I'd already they were ingrained in my mind. So I've never seen those live, but this was fun to just casually enjoy and get to see you guys play and have fun. So that was really great, and I'm hoping definitely to see more from you guys in the future. We'll have same sort of live shows and opportunities for you guys to come on if you're ever available during season 3 and future seasons. But yeah, that's going to be it for our Survivor season 2 reunion. If any of you guys besides Ethan have anything else to say before we close it out, feel free.
Thank you guys as well.
It's a pleasure to see everybody.
Yeah. If you're graduating, congratulations.
Thank you.
I literally don't know.
Thank you. Hopefully there's a graduation. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if we have one of those.
It's crazy too. We're old now.
Myself, Alex, Ethan, and Matt, it's all our last semester. So hopefully that'll go well. Yeah, Alex, you're in an internship. You won't even be at UConn. Will you still graduate with us, right? You'll come back for graduation.
Yeah, it ends the same day classes would normally end.
Cool. But that's it for the reunion night. Thank you to everyone watching. This will be on YouTube soon, hopefully. Probably the same week. But it's been great. Great talking to everyone here. Make sure to follow us on social media. It'll be all in the description, all those social media tags. especially Instagram at Survivor UConn. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments and maybe we'll answer them at a later date. But that's it. Have a good night, and we'll see you when Survivor UConn comes back.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.